Hi there, my name is Aaron Lancherman. I'm a professor of electrical and computer engineering at Georgia Tech. I've spent most of the past couple of weeks looking through printed circuit board design submitted by my students and helping them with that. Here I'm taking a little break and looking at what upgrades I might get on my Waves plugins. Now, Waves are the only plugins that I actually own, that in terms of plugins that are commercial, not open source or free or whatever. And the only reason I really have these is that I had bought the Waves plugins way back with Sound Tools. I think the program was Sound Designer 2, way back in the day when you couldn't actually listen to the whole file. You had to audition it on a little loop that could store in memory, and then you processed offline. It was not a pleasant process. I think there was like the Q10 EQ and maybe the C1 compressor, and the big fancy thing was the new L1 Ultra Maximizer, much loved and much abused by a lot of people, probably including me. Anyway, so because those were the first plugins I had bought when they were really the only plugins that existed, I did keep up with that over the years, switching from the original dongle for the Apple desktop bus to later USB dongles and whatever, and to now this cloud or local install license, whatever. So in order to try to sort all this out, I made a list of the various bundles that I have. I had a version that listed all the prices here. I'm not showing those here because it's kind of embarrassing how much money I've spent on these various products over the past, 25 years, something like that. Over 2 decades, a long time. And I never bought any of these at the official list price, and I don't think anybody does because the prices for Waves plugins aren't really that terribly meaningful because they always have various sales and whatnot, so there's no point in buying something at the official list price. Anyway, so I had the Studio Classics. That's all listed here, the CLA Classic compressors. I don't really care whether these are approved by Crystal or Algae or not. They're just nice implementations of those compressors. JJP Analog Legends. I'm not listing all of the stuff that's in the Platinum library because that's a lot of stuff, but I did put a little P next to the ones that are part of that Platinum package. So I was really doing this when I was trying to figure out whether to update or not. I'm hoping that if I update now, and I think there's like a 20% off, so I could do the Waves update plan for 180 instead of 240. And then by the time that's up, they will actually have released native versions for the Apple M1, etc. Silicon. Hopefully they'll get their act together on that over the coming year. But while I was at it, I thought, let me look at the upgrades. Not that I'm actually planning on getting any of these. I actually have too much of these. And most of these I don't ever, like this Butch Vig one, I just, I love the band Garbage. I'm a big fan of Butch Vig. I thought the Steampunk GUI kind of looked neat and different, but it's just unnecessarily confusing. Why did I buy the Pi compressor? Once you have like 30 compressors, what's the point of any more? The H reverb. This is great. I love that. Linear phase multiband compressor. This is a powerful precision tool. I haven't really gotten the hang of it, but it's fun. This just is, if you really want to take a piece of audio and turn it into a pure wall of concrete that smacks the listener in the face, the L316 multi-maximizer will do that. If you want to do that. I do love the Renaissance Vox. It just, you put it on a voice and it works, and that's a wonderful thing. Tend not to use all this stuff very much. For a lot of these compressors, I never spent any time with the real hardware, so I can't really make a judgment there. And I always view things like this as being sort of transitional in the sense that if you have somebody who's been using these pieces of hardware for 30 years, then making a plugin that models that and kind of acts in a way they expect, even if it doesn't exactly sound the same, as a good transition. Also, I think probably if you're a student at one of these schools that's teaching or recording, this would be a way to get your feet wet to kind of try to understand how these things operate. Like just the weirdness of the way a Pultec is set up is just weird. and unintuitive when you first see it. Anyway, it would give you some practice. So if you did get a job at the big fancy studio with all the hardware, you know what to do. But I'm really more interested in saying, okay, well, now is it really important to have things look exactly like these old pieces of hardware? What kind of new things could you create now that you have the flexibility of DSP? And what kind of new interfaces could you have there? That's kind of what I'm personally interested in. Especially if there's somebody, somebody 18, 19 years old who's just getting into it. Does it really matter that they have, an LA3A compressor and that they have a Fairchild 660 emulation? Or is it more important that they just have access to a lot of different kinds of compression, different flavors, whatever you may want to call that? Anyway, enough soapboxing there. So I put this all together to try to figure out what I had and figure out what these upgrades meant. And this is just a little rant, so this is not like my usual lecture material, about how utterly confusing this is. So we start with going down here and say, oh, you could upgrade to Mercury, and okay, don't want to spend $900 on a bunch of stuff I don't really want or need. I already have more stuff than I want or need. But then it gets really confusing because, okay, I could upgrade to Mercury for $993, and that adds 92 new plugins. But they also have a Mercury Studio Classics bundle I could upgrade to for $881, but allegedly only adds 89 new plugins. So I guess this one's more expensive, but it's 3 more plugins. But this actually should have more stuff in it, right? Because it's Mercury Plus Studio, but it's kind of confusing. It's showing me this anyway because I already have the Studio Classics bundle and it knows that. So that's a little confusing. And in either case, if I say, add 91 new plugins, well, okay, that's a bunch of stuff. But some of this is stuff that I already have. Like I already have the API 2500 as part of my Studio Classics bundle. So why is it showing me here? I guess if I say add 89 new plugins, it doesn't show those here. But but this is the one with upgrading to Studio Classics. The way it's presenting this is very confusing to me. So why would I pay more money here to get these additional plugins that I already have? Like, does this have the V stuff in it? No, it's different. That's very confusing. Or now if I scroll down all the way down to here, it says upgrade to Diamond, but it says you already own this product. So why is this showing me this at all? I could get the C1 compressor, but I already have that. I think that's probably even in gold. And I think that's probably one of the most standard compressors you get in all of their packages. So why is it showing this to me? Or you already own a bundle containing this product. So why is it showing to me? I guess maybe if you owned a studio and you had many rooms with different Pro Tools rigs, and some of them had these plugins already and some of them had these, maybe you would want to have different upgrades. So maybe one of your setups didn't have the full Diamond bundle, but maybe one of your others does. So you'd really want 2 Diamond bundles, and this would be an upgrade path to that. That should be an option, though. There should be a way to click on, why is it showing me upgrade to Platinum or all this stuff when I already have this? So maybe you do want to expand and say, I would like to have 30 Diamond licenses for all of my 30 rooms, and I can upgrade from all these individual weird plugins. But that should be an option. Like, there should be a thing that the automatic is, if you own the thing, don't show it to you already. And when it's calculating what new plugins you're going to get, then, like, I think I already have something with this hybrid compressor in it. I would have to go look. I'm not sure. I don't have the Kramer stuff. Let's see, but I do have all of the L3 whatevers from various places in one of the plugins or something. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, this is just confusing. So it should have a way to say, only show me things that actually give me a new plugin that I don't already own flat out. And then also subtract from any list you show me things that I already have in my other plugins so I can get a good sense. But yeah, so this is just weird. Like, I already have this. So maybe because I already have this, that's why it's cheaper. I guess, okay, that makes sense, and that's why it's cheaper. You could upgrade to this thing plus the Studio Classics from that. Okay, I guess that sort of makes sense, but it's just unnecessarily confusing. Or at least it's unnecessarily confusing at 5:10 a.m.